Alright guys, Mastermind Tech here with another video. So in today's video, I'm going to be doing a IPS mod to this Game Boy Color to go along with the rest of my IPS mods that I've been doing. So this Game Boy Color I got off eBay for about 40 bucks. I thought it was going to actually be in bad shape in the picture, but it actually came in, it's actually a lot better than the picture looks. Look at some of these names actually written on here, so I can probably easily take off. I do have batteries in it, so I do know that it works. So, which is good. So let me go ahead and take those out. But yeah, so it actually did come in better shape. So I didn't really want to take this apart for this mod, but I do already have a Game Boy Color that works, which is clear purple. So I am going to actually be doing this mod. So I'm going to be changing this out for an IPS mod, which came in 2 packages just like this. And I'm going to be changing it out for this clear blue case. Comes with more of these screwdrivers. Does come with an aftermarket sticker, some aftermarket membranes. And then this is going to be the screen here. It's going to come with the screen, and it looks like a glass lens. So yeah, so in this video I'm going to be doing the IPS mod to this Game Boy Color here. So yeah, if you guys want to stick around for this video and watch me do this. Alright guys, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start taking the back off like you do with most of these. So let me go ahead and break out my iFixit toolkit, and I'm going to be using a tri-wing screwdriver to be able to remove the back of this off. So let me go ahead and do that. Alright, so once I have all 6 of those out, this back should just come right off. So, just like that. So that is going to be the back of that off. And this is going to be the board here. So, the board itself actually has a few screws on it as well. So we're going to go back to a Phillips. And we're going to take the whole motherboard out. Okay, so it looks like there are 3 screws at the bottom here that hold this board in, so we're going to go ahead and remove them. Alright, and that should be all of the screws. So this back part should now come off. It's the same thing on this as most every connector. You're going to lift up the little black part, which will actually release the connector for this screen. And then the screen connector should fall right out. This one's a bit tighter in there. Just like that. So now the motherboard is now free from this. So there's a little bit of corrosion here. But yeah, so that is going to be the board for the front of this. I don't think I'm going to use much from here. I might reuse these membranes because I don't really like aftermarket ones. So other than that, I do not need this part. I might take the membranes off, maybe the buttons. So that is going to be this. So what I'm going to do is there actually is a little bit of metal flakes here on this speaker here. I'm going to go get a little bit of alcohol and a Q-tip, and I'm going to wipe that off. Something. So I'm just going to leave it on there. It shouldn't interfere with anything. I tested this before with sound, tested the gain card. I know it works. So it should be okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the new shell. Go ahead and we'll open this up. That foam is getting everywhere. So that is going to be the new plastic lens, which I'm actually not going to be using for this. I actually got an aftermarket glass lens that's inside with the screen. It's going to be right here. So this is going to be glass. I prefer the glass definitely over the plastic. I'm going to go ahead and take these 2 things apart. Check out these buttons. These buttons are colorful. Now, do I want to use these, or do I just want to use the black-brown ones that come with the original Game Boy? These look like they've been worn and they're really, really dirty, so I might end up using these colorful ones. Usually I like to go with the original buttons, but this might add something to it as it is Game Boy colors for Pokemon. So let me go ahead and put this to this. So yeah, I mean, they're like Pokemon colors. So let me go ahead and these are pre-cut. So I know that this is going to go towards the top. This notch will go here. This is going to be this button over here. Just like that. And then this is going to be the B button, which is going to go in just like that. I'm going to take the membrane from the old ones and I am going to transfer them over. Don't think I want to reuse these, the original ones. Let me see, what do the new ones look like? That came with this kit. They're the same thing, just black. I'm just going to use the new ones for this. Let's go ahead and stick the new ones in there. So now that is going to be the front part as far as button assembly. Let's go ahead and see what that looks like. Yeah, I don't think that'd be bad. I think it kind of matches with, you know, green, blue, and red for Pokemon. This is actually colored very similar to Pokemon Crystal, so that's actually why I did this. So I'm going to go ahead and put that down. So on this, go ahead and take the back off of it. Cool. Okay. So this shell is actually pre-cut already for the IPS screen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the screen out. There's going to be this here. This looks like another one of those insulating sheets that go on the back of these to stop them from shorting out. And then this is going to be the board here. And this is going to be the touch sensor. The touch sensor is actually going to be attached to the bottom of this, which is where the old IR sensor used to be in order to change the color of the screen. So this should actually be pre-cut, so this will lay in without the membrane on there. Should lay down exactly where it needs to go, so just like that. So let me go ahead and peel these off. And I can peel the front lens off as well, this part. That won't come off. Looks like the protective layer is not coming off with this. So I'm going to have to use my finger to peel it off. So I'm going to peel this membrane off and I'm going to be placing the screen into where it goes, which will be right here. And the holes are cut exactly for it. It does look like that this is a bit dirty. So I'm going to take that same Q-tip I was using earlier, try to see if I can clean this off a bit. All right, now that that is cleaned up, I'm going to go ahead and set that back in here. So just like that. So the screen itself has now been installed. You can, they do have brackets, which I can actually stick this down with this, which actually I might do. It's hard to get these lined up, but I guess I'm going to take the screen back out. Try to avoid touching it, so I'm going to just grab it from the bottom. And I'm going to take this sticky thing, go ahead and peel it off from the back. This does not look like it was cut the best. So you can see the white part in the middle, so it doesn't look like it's going to interfere with anything. So I am going to pop that middle part out because I don't need this middle part. So I already have everything lined up. Put that to the side. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to peel off this. And go ahead and peel that off. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick the screen back in there, but now this time it's actually going to stick down. So go ahead and make sure this is all the way to the top. I should just go straight down onto the sticky. I'm going to put this membrane back on again. All right, and then now that is going to be the screen installed at the front. Okay, and there's a couple more things. So what I'm going to do is there should have been adhesive with this, which it does not look like this kit comes with any. I do not see any. So what I'm going to first do is I'm going to actually put this insulating sheet on the back of the screen. Okay, go ahead and stick that down. It's going to be the insulating sheet. And this here is going to be the main board. So the thing that I'm going to need to do on this is I'm going to need to solder this piece down to this pad. So let me go ahead and turn on my soldering iron. Soldering iron is turned on. All right, so what I gotta do is I actually am going to be trimming this. So I'm going to trim the edge of this. And I'm actually going to be soldering it to the point on the back of this ribbon cable. Very similar to the SP mod that I did. So we're going to go ahead and strip the edge of this. Go ahead and twist the cable. Then what I'm going to do, this is how I get my flux out. I don't have a plunger for it, so I just use one of these screwdrivers. I'm actually going to put a little bit of flux down on this pad. Okay, that was a lot more than a little flux, but that will work. Just gotta make sure I clean it up. So once the soldering iron is heated up, I'm going to solder this down to here. This is actually the brightness control, and pretty much the brightness control, the color control, anything with this IPS screen will be done through here. So this needs to be soldered down to here first. All right, so now that I have my soldering iron nice and hot, I'm going to hit it with a little bit of solder. Then I'm going to hit a little bit onto this pad. All right, so with flux, it allows it to actually adhere very well to it. So let me go ahead and clean this off. Okay. I'm going to take this, rotate it, and I'm going to hit the end of this onto it. Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit more solder. All right, so now that I'm done actually soldering that piece down, you can see it's stuck to it, which is good. So I am now going to clean off the flux, because flux, after it gets used by the soldering iron, actually becomes more like a goop. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get more alcohol on another Q-tip, and I'm going to clean off all that flux. Just want to make sure when you're cleaning up flux that you're actually using alcohol, because alcohol will actually stop the flux from corroding. Flux is actually corrosive, so you don't normally want to leave it on something after you have soldered using it. Clean off my mat here of some of the flux that came off. Okay. So now that I have that nice and soldered, you can see that little nice solder ball there. It's attached to it. I'm going to take the front part of the screen, which I put over here. We're going to go ahead and flip this board over. We're going to plug in the board. So I'm going to need assistance with some tweezers. So flip this over and I'm going to plug it in. Right. So now I have that down. It does suck that this one doesn't come with adhesive, so I can't adhesive this down. Most of the sets come with adhesive for this, but I did not see any within this entire pack. Nope, just double check. There was no adhesive for this backboard. So I'm just gonna have to adhere it down like this. So with this now in, I'm going to be taking this redone IR port, which is very similar to the one that came on the original, but you can see it's gray. So we're not actually going to be using IR from the original board, which is one of the ones that come up from up here. We're not actually going to be using those. We're just going to be adhering this to the back of this. And it's going to be going into here. So let me go ahead and fit this in. The short side should go to the left. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take this. There's a little bit of adhesive on it. Go ahead and peel that adhesive off. I'm going to go ahead and stick it to the back of this. Then I got to put this in between the board and this top piece. So for this screen. So just like that. So I'm going to put it underneath where the screen is. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to be sticking in the motherboard. So we're going to go ahead and stick this back in here. So I actually do need to put back on the power switch. All right, so now once I have that in, I can go ahead and stick the speaker in, all of this in. Should be it. Don't need the old membrane. Now what I need to do is turn this around, and I'm going to stick the screen connector into here. Let's go ahead and rotate this. I'm going to stick this into here. Okay, that is all the way in there. Go ahead and push down the little levers. Both sides. Looks like that one came back out. All right. All right, now that both of those are in there, I'm going to go ahead and put the board back in again. Oh, you know what I did forget to do? All right, so actually what I have to do before I put this motherboard in is I have to trim down where the LCD is. So all of these little pins across here need to be cut flush with the board. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Right, so now I have flush cut all of these connectors here so they're no longer sticking very far out. So now I can put this back into here. All right, so now that that is laying flat, what I do is I'm going to take my screwdriver and I'm going to re-put back in the 3 screws from the motherboard. So now what I'm going to do, power switch fell out. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to test it out. So let me go ahead and put the back on. Don't want to pinch this wire here, so let me move that out of the way. Stick it right inside there. Let me go ahead and push this down. So it's just going to be just like that. Go ahead and put in the batteries. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it on. So it does work. So that is good. So let me see if the touch sensor works. Yep, definitely does. You can see it's changing the brightness, and I should be able to go to max brightness by holding it down. Guess this one didn't have the color palette change, but it does go to full brightness. It was just like that, so it is working. We'll go ahead and shut this back off. I'm going to take these batteries out. So now since I know it works, I'm going to go ahead and set this down. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to screw the backs back in. So all 6 of these screws. So now once I have all 6 of those in, go ahead and stick back in the batteries. Go ahead and put the rubber back on. Go ahead and turn it on. So that is it working. Switch feels a little weird over here. This is definitely not the best shell ever. I did get this off AliExpress, but it seems like it'll work. The buttons down here definitely are not going through right. So I do need to tighten the bottom of this better. But I do know that it does work. Do know that these holes are not pre-threaded. So when I'm putting in these screws, you could end up cracking the case like I did on my Game Boy Advance. So I definitely do not want to do that. But you can definitely tell this thing does not go together the greatest. Because it happens when you buy stuff off AliExpress. I always buy a new shell since I already have the mod installed. So, but it should be okay. As long as I can press the buttons. So next thing I need to do is put on the lens. So the screen should still be clean since I have not touched it, but I am going to give it a wipe down before I put on that glass lens. All right, now that it's white, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stick the lens down. Go ahead and peel this off. This does look like this lens comes like, it's like wet. It looks like water was spilled on it. But I'll end up cleaning it off again. All right, now that I have the whole thing assembled, I'm going to turn it back on. Looks like the touch sensor is still working. Cool, go ahead and shut it off. Now the whole reason I did this build was because I wanted the closest thing I can get to Pokemon Crystal. This is my Japanese version of Pokemon Crystal. You can see that the color is still a bit off, but I still like that it's like a Pokemon Crystal color. You can see this is the Japanese version, which actually has this on the back, which looks really cool. So go ahead and we're going to stick that in, and we're going to go ahead and turn it on. Go ahead and turn the brightness down. Go ahead and make sure all the buttons work. So it does read, volume does work. Should probably put a volume mod in this. It's not very loud. Most Game Boy Colors weren't anyways. Looks like my camera's picking this up like super bright. But yeah, so it does work. All the buttons look like they work. Sadly, I don't read Japanese, but I do like how the colors almost match. What else is another bonus with this case is it's actually glow in the dark. Let me turn off my light. Turn it off like that. You can actually see the green glowing in the dark. I'm going to go and turn it off. You can actually see that. It looks really cool. Will I ever really use the glow in the dark feature? Probably not, but it does look pretty cool that it glows in the dark like that. It's actually like glow in the dark green. And yeah, just a little bit of a bonus to this. So what I'm actually going to do with this one is most of the time I don't put the sticker here on the back. Still don't know if I want to or not. Make it a little bit more authentic, but you know that this isn't real anyways. It kind of covers up the bottom of this label, so I don't think I'm actually going to. I'm probably going to leave it off like I do on most of my aftermarket consoles after I IPS mod them. So yeah. So yeah, guys, I am happy with how this came out. It's pretty much the same as most of the other IPS mods that I've done, where basically it's just brighter screen, nicer visuals, and stuff like that. So yeah, it's actually one more to add to the entire family of consoles that I have that are now backlit. That. I have my SP. And I'm also going to have this, my Game Boy Advance. So this is actually going to be a mix of all of the consoles that I have IPS modded so far. We got the Game Boy Color, we got the original DMG, we got the Game Boy Advance SP, and we got this pink Game Boy Advance up here. All of them have the IPS modded, and I'm really happy with how all of these turned out. These are great mods. I highly suggest them. These ones were bought from AliExpress, the cases. This one was bought from Handheld Legends. This one was also bought from Handheld Legends. But most of all of the screens, except for the one for the DMG, were all bought from AliExpress or eBay. I think that they look fine. I'm really happy with how all of these look. All of them work out really well. With all the mods on these. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching my video on this. I'm actually really happy with how this came out, as with most of these mods I am. But yeah, everything works good. The only suggestion is that these shells are not made very great, as they are from AliExpress. So this one, my green shell, and the original one, my pink Game Boy Advance. This one here used to be clear blue. I'm not sorry, clear pink, but it broke. So sadly, I ended up just going with this Retro 6 one. I do kind of want to go with another clear color to match Pokemon. So I'm thinking about changing this out for maybe like a yellow, clear yellow if they have it or something like that. But for now, I'm going to keep it in this shell. But yeah, guys, that's going to be it for this video. Thank you for watching my video. Please leave a like for this video if you guys liked the video. If you guys want to leave any comments in the section down below for any future videos, that'd be awesome. And if you guys want to leave a subscribe on the way out, that'd be awesome as well. Alright guys, peace.